Yeah, because I think that that's the tough part. Like the average person it is very hard. But then again, I don't know how the FBI works, right? But it is very hard to believe for the average person. That would be my question. Like if you go to the supermarket and buy your food, and then you are the one that's bringing it home, how does it get hampered with, right? Like realistically speaking, I think that that's where people are like, that doesn't really make any sense, right? Like, I understand maybe if you order it, like me when I order Uber Eats, sometimes I have concerns that people might hamper with my food, which is understandable. But when you are the one purchasing your own food, then it's harder to just kind of imagine how it takes place, right? Like for me, that's
well, I try not to imagine. What I do know is when, it doesn't make any sense for the same product to have a different effect on my stomach. And then, you would have to, like, actually, like, eat the meal with me for you to understand, It's not...
Yeah.
I try not to imagine this, like, yeah. I try to rationalize it myself, and I wonder how, like you're asking me, how do they do this? Where I would find myself crazy is not how, but why would they do this? How on earth, like, would they process any sort of, like, money by making little old me sick? And it comes back around to, I have a Muslim last name, and it's just ridiculous. It's still crazy, it's still crazy, but if I was the average person and I heard myself speak like this, would I believe it? Would I think about it a little bit? Maybe if it was like 99, I wouldn't, but like with all the recent crap going on, and FBI does misbehave, I might, so I'm thinking the police are thinking the same thing, that
it's tough. It's hard to believe. I'm not saying that, like, like I said, I'm not trying to invalidate your experience whatsoever, and I want you to understand that. But you have to understand that for the average person to hear something like this, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, it does not make sense to the average. Well,
I understand this. I'm hoping you're an above average person. I hope you're a fantastic person, and you'll find some understanding.
For me, honestly, like if my friend was to, and then I want to say it again, that I do not want to invalidate your feelings. Like, you are the one that's going through this, so I do not want to invalidate it, But I do want you to understand that for the regular human being like myself and most people, it's
well, I generally don't talk to the regular human beings. I talk to the police about this.
Yeah, but even to the police, like I think that they'll have a hard time rationalizing it. I think that
they absolutely do, because again, like the way they do work, it's all evidence based.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, it is evidence based. Like, and that's the same thing, like the therapy and everything else. It's like, okay, so you have proof of it, like, or how do you, even if you was to go to court, you need to present your evidence to win a case. Like, if you go to court, you have to present your evidence to win a case. So I don't want you to think that it's because it's not because people are against you. It's just because
that's what I'm sitting here thinking. I'm sitting here thinking it depends on, who's playing for what team. Because again, FBI and police, they do work together, but sometimes, FBI is a little more antisocial. They don't like abide by the same regulations. So if, somebody just found this to be like immensely ridiculous, which is how I feel about it. Why on earth, because of my stupid last name, why on earth would they have any sort of interest in me whatsoever?
Yeah.
They would maybe like take action, because again, like I feel like when I do talk to them, they're maybe dismissive, but they seem to have like some sort of interest in like my well-being anyways, and I don't
Good.
mean
Well, that's a
emotionally.
good thing.
You know, they
Yeah.
do there is a chance that they are investigating, you know, even though like you say proof, like who would I prove it to? If
Yeah.
it's the police and the
Yeah.
FBI and there's me,
Yeah.
the only person that I have to prove it to is like myself, you know, and it's not solid until I see some sort of documents or they actually say something to me, which they haven't as of yet. But again, like I have that video of Officer Gallagher and he's being like my friend, like he's Joe Schmo and not the cops and stuff, which
Yeah.
leads me to believe that some people do sympathize. You know, they're
Yeah.
not all like these cold-hearted, gun-toting, uniformed officers. You know,
Yeah.
so.
I agree with you. Like
And
I said,
again,
no problem. I mean,
if you don't if you don't hold me off to the mental institution for this conversation, you know,
I don't have
that's
the
also
power
an
to do that.
incentive for
I
me
do
to.
not-
Well,
I think
you
that
know,
you are, you know, giving me too much credit. I do not have the power to send you to a mental institution or to have people come and knock on your door and do all that. That's more like.
Actually, I meant to talk to you about something else. Like you said, you're moving, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the pandemic is officially over, so I don't know under what regulation I'm allowed to have just like a phone session with you, but I know the pandemic is over.
Exactly.
So once you
Yeah, that's
move,
why we have to do. That's why we remember I told you that we're gonna be doing video.
yeah,
You know, so that's yeah.
Okay.
Because the pandemic is officially over, so they
So-
are no longer. Yeah. So in the future, probably in the next month, we're gonna officially in the next probably like 15 days transition into video. If not, you can always see someone in person in the clinic. That's another option for you as well.
so my question is, like, once you move though, and you know, like the pandemic's been over, like you're in a different state. If they again change the rules because the pandemic's been over and they say nobody's doing video, you have to come in person, I wouldn't be able to see you anymore, right? So whatever I've told you in confidence, you know, was that worth it? Because would I have to go through this process of trust with this new person? Because again,
well, the thing is, whether there's a pandemic or not, they are giving us the opportunity to work remote. So me
For the
working
time
remote
being,
has
right?
nothing, you know, it's something that we transition into now. Like, so there's a lot of therapy, whether there's pandemic or not, I am allowed to work remote. I have been given the permission to work remote. I am allowed to work remote. There are other therapists as of right now. Therapists in the clinic, most therapists are now working 5 days out of the clinic. Most therapists in the clinic are working maybe 2 days in the office and the other 2 days out of their home. So because of the pandemic, they realized that we don't really need as much office space as we were having. So they are able to hire more people because more people are able to work from home and have therapy sessions from home. So the pandemic doesn't affect me whether we never have a pandemic or whatsoever. I am just a remote worker. I have officially transitioned to just being a remote therapist. And there's a lot of jobs hiring for remote therapists. It has nothing to do, well, the pandemic made us realize that there's a lot of work that we can do remote. The kids were going to school remote and everything else. So it no longer.
Well, the pandemic's over, you know. I think it was this week or something.
Yeah, I think May 11th is like the national, what is it? Whatever, it has been declared. It's been declared over, so.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So me working remote and me moving has nothing to do with anything. I'm allowed to do it. My job gave me permission. I am okay.
Okay, I just
So you don't
wanted
have
to tell you one more thing, and then we could talk about something
go
else.
ahead.
The reason that I bring this up is because I don't want you to think like I have it easy at all. I have a very hard time. Like I have a lot of struggles, you know, and I feel like I really feel like it's really unfair to me and my son, you know. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of like struggles, you know, that I shouldn't be having, that are like totally not our fault. It's the FBI's fault. So that's all,
Yeah.
you know, and I had to say that, you know. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said it. Otherwise, it would have been mum's the word because, you know, again, I know it sounds not all right. So I guess we could talk about something else, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we're finishing up. You know, we are getting ready to finish up. But yeah, but yes, thank you, you know, for sharing all of that with me. I appreciate you sharing and confiding in me to share, you know, your challenges and your struggles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll follow up with you next week.
Okay. Take care.
All right. All right. Bye bye.
But I wanted to play.